So, NVIDIA is ruining the look of video games and also ruining what little sentiment I had, and I mean so starkly little, that using AI for absolutely anything in computer graphics could be good. Other people are gonna make videos dunking on this and explaining why it sucks. I wanna show you that video games don't need this, and I wanna show you what developers actually need. Hi, I'm Woody. I make 3D game graphics for a living. You're witnessing my handiwork live right now in Unreal. I've been making 3D rendered art and animation for the past 8 years, and I frequently direct games and game-like experiences at my company, Infinistash. So, DLSS 5 was just announced. So, this is the image that's making the rounds right now, this picture of Grace from Resident Evil Requiem. There's clear reasons why this is a bad image. Her hair has actually changed color. She looks older. This is clearly a story moment where the character is not supposed to be wearing lipstick, but she is for some inexplicable reason. So this is an obvious dunk, but Grok, make her hot. She's gone from looking like a 21-year-old woman to looking like they cast Aubrey Plaza in a John Wick movie, and then they asked the colorist to make the image look more like a tacky HDR photo from 2009. I felt like I was really cooking with that one. When I wrote that down, I was like, man, I really got him. DLSS 5 is the GPT moment for graphics, blending handcrafted rendering with generative AI to deliver a dramatic leap in visual realism while preserving the control artist's need for creative expression. Jensen Huang. They stamped a new face on the woman. Jensen actually clapped back at the haters yesterday. He said that people don't get what the tech is doing and that game artists will be able to have influence over the pixels. I'm not sure if NVIDIA knows this, but we're seeing a lot less of that 2010s conversation about how good graphics can look. Wow, it looks so next gen. That was 15 years ago, dude. The chatter these days, for better or worse, is can this run on my hardware? I want this in 60 FPS, not why doesn't this game look like real life? I think games should look like games. Oh, damn it, the title was a little bit too long to fit in. Games should be allowed to look like games. Developers work really hard to make the game look like it does. Resident Evil Requiem already looks great. I've been watching friends play it on Discord. The game looks incredible. The team also seems to have a really solid understanding of what the game should be aesthetically. They're doing cool stuff with dark cinematography. The VFX work on the monsters is incredible looking. I want you to notice how little of the background of this image is getting changed. It's because the environment art looks really, really good and photo accurate. This image is completely coasting on that. Game artists are really good at making your pixels look great, and they do not get paid adequately for it. It's a huge slap in the carpal tunnel for you to say, oh, hey, thank you for all that hard work, but actually, before the final frame hits the render, we'll be smearing a new layer of our own goo right on top of it. A lot of this update has been framed around the lighting, and I can tell you personally as a cinematographer in my previous life before I got into CG stuff, this is utter bullshit. This is less photo accurate than what the game was going to otherwise produce. Like, she's standing next to a bridge, and conceivably there would be less light to reflect on her face because right next to her is a very dark object. The game knows how big of a light source is lighting the character. It's doing its best to translate that information. The DLSS layer does not have access to that lighting information. It's just inferring stuff. Hey, it's Editor Woody here. Sorry I'm late to this. I was doing my taxes. In the time that it's taking me to edit this video, more news has come out and pretty much confirmed everything that I was thinking about lighting, which is kind of cool because, who doesn't like when journalists hand you an I told you so? It feels pretty good and neat. The biggest issue facing games right now isn't lighting, it's facial animation. Look at this part of the demo for Starfield. This looks absolutely dog. It's weird to see a face that's got more realistic skin, yet has plunged further into the uncanny valley. This facial animation is just like a lady's jaw moving up and down. What are her emotions? Something just like about watching a slightly more human face with less fidelity on how it moves the face is really icky. It's really weird. Like, this would be like a great way to ruin a 5-year-old. Like, if you were raised by wolves, you would not understand human expression. And almost like any game right now, you kind of just ignore this. You just move by. An NPC's expression is kind of blank, and that's kind of fine. There's a good reason this is the case. A lot of it is just actors' time. It's a lot of paid time with those actors. If you have voice actors, they don't necessarily do facial animation work, and it would cost more money for them to do that, and it would kind of change their whole assignment. That's a lot of data to store in the game file too. It's maybe less of a concern, but it's even harder to hand animate it all, because hand animating facial animation is really, really hard. Meanwhile, lighting in games has actually gotten really good. That's like a big part of like why I got interested in using Unreal 5. I'm fine with video games looking like video games. Hyperrealism doesn't really improve games, in my opinion. Games are going to keep looking better when artists are allowed to use their tools to ship high-quality graphics at their own standards, and AI companies stop hoarding PC parts so that gamers can afford the machines and consoles to actually play them. Then you'll get great-looking games. This is a band-aid solution, and even still, it's gonna f with your wallet. DLSS keeps getting increasingly higher spec every time. There's certain features in DLSS 4 that only work with the 40 and 50 series cards. They use not one, but two 5090 cards to make this demo. If you want this feature, you're gonna need something high-end for this, and good luck getting it. Even if you secured a 6090 on launch day, Jensen Huang is personally going to come and beat your ass in a parking lot, and then he's going to ship that bad boy straight into a data center. Honestly, I think this whole demo is just more NVIDIA stock market flirtation stuff. Tech demos these days are just basically pandering to hoping that shareholders think they've done something cool, and this has been an enormous PR fuck up for them. I am mad about what they're doing here with the DLSS brand. For those that don't know, DLSS is actually an incredible set of tools. If you're a game dev and you're trying to create great work, DLSS is actually going to help you hit your FPS targets and get your game on low-spec devices and PCs. It does things like frame generation and upscaling. It allows your computer or console to render smaller frames and then upsample them at a higher level. It's free FPS, basically. If you bought a Switch 2, you're probably already playing stuff with DLSS 3.1. If you want to create a handheld that renders 4K stuff, it's a tiny little device. You need to be able to do some sort of upscaling. DLSS has been a really good thing. A lot of people are going to start using the term DLSS to describe this slop. They need to fix this, or they need to rename the thing I've been using, because I've been DLSS this whole time. You've actually been looking at DLSS for this entire time. I use DLSS for frame generation and upscaling so that I can stream my live performance in Unreal to my audience before editing it and uploading it to YouTube. I am still spending a ton of time and energy on building this environment, so a little help with optimization comes in handy. I don't want to trade my pixels out. I worked hard for these pixels. DLSS 5 doesn't come out until this fall, and it's possible that it will be a free plugin just like all the other editions of DLSS. I will either be 1, not touching it ever, or 2, seeing what kind of crazy fucked up shit this does to my stop motion character. But until then, stay kind and keep making stuff.